is my town! I decide who lives or who dies!
Ellen rides alone across an open grassland, heading toward a remote town. Along the way, she crosses paths with Kelly, a man obsessively digging for gold. Suspicious of her presence, Kelly fires a shot that knocks her off her horse. When he moves in to confirm the kill, Ellen surprises him by striking him unconscious. She chains him to a wagon and rides on, determined to reach the town of redemption. Her mission is to hunt a man named Herod. Once in town, Ellen stops at an inn and bar to get a room. The owner, standing on a bench, wrongly assumes she's a prostitute.
Who's next door?
Without a word, Ellen kicks the bench, sending him crashing to the floor. Not long after, a man named Ace Hamlin struts into the bar, proudly displaying a deck of cards where each ace marks a kill. Ellen remains unfazed and sits outside with a drink while a blind boy quietly cleans her boots. With every shot fired, only the quickest will live. This is the quick and the dead. Meanwhile, Scars, a recently freed convict, rides into town and guns down a man to settle an old score. He then turns his attention to Ellen, but she brushes him off with a cold remark. Frustrated, Scars lashes out by wrecking the blind boy's wagon. Later, as Ellen unpacks in her room, Katie, the innkeeper's daughter, stops by. She is curious about Ellen's gun and asks if she is any good. Ellen says nothing. Downstairs, the bar owner announces a high-stakes single-elimination duel tournament, with 16 slots available and a prize of $123,000. Gunmen begin signing up. Scars, Spotted Horse, Sergeant Cantrell, Eugene, Ace Hamlin, a flashy young shooter named the Kid, and a Swedish champion named Gontes. The Kid, trying to charm Ellen, boasts about his money scattered across 4 states. She barely acknowledges him. Suddenly, John Herod enters the bar with his men. The crowd cheers as he registers for the tournament. Then Herod hauls in a priest named Court and demands he fight. When Court refuses, Herod strings him up by the neck. Ellen steps in and offers to register.
Sign me up.
Herod mocks her, claiming women cannot shoot. Without hesitation, Ellen draws and fires, slicing the rope and saving Court. Impressed but still in control, Herod registers both Court and Ellen against their will. The tournament is now officially underway. The next morning, Ellen wakes up at the Kid's place. Nothing happens between them because the Kid spent the night unconscious from drinking. As they talk, Ellen says she wants to challenge Herod. The Kid casually mentions that he might be Herod's son. Meanwhile, Court wakes up chained to a fountain. Ellen finds him and asks why he refuses to fight back. Court admits he wants revenge for everything Herod and his men have done, but he refuses to kill because he believes it is wrong. He then shares his past. Years ago, after a failed bank robbery, both he and Herod were wounded and taken in by a priest. Once they recovered, Herod forced Court to prove his loyalty by killing the same priest. Herod held a gun to Court's head and left him no choice. Since then, Court has carried that guilt and turned to religion to seek redemption. Later that day, Ellen walks into the bar and tries to challenge Herod directly, but before she can finish, Kelly bursts in, free from his chains, and challenges her first. According to the rules, Ellen has no choice but to accept. At the same time, Ace Hamlin continues to show off, spinning his pistol and bragging. Herod steps in and challenges Ace himself, suspecting Ace was hired to take him out. The tournament officially begins. The rules are simple: shoot first and stay standing. The opening match is between the Kid and Gontes, the Swede. The Kid fires 2 clean shots that knock Gontes out of the fight. The crowd erupts in celebration, lifting him up like a champion. Meanwhile, Spotted Horse boasts that he is invincible and has survived countless bullets before. That day's winners include Spotted Horse, Sergeant Cantrell, Scars, and Eugene, a well-known outlaw. Then Herod's men drag Court into a duel. Herod allows Court a quick stop at the Kid's gun shop. The Kid offers premium weapons, but Herod insists Court take the cheapest pistol, loaded with a single bullet. Despite the Kid's assurance that it shoots straight, Court still refuses to draw or fight. When the time comes, Court is pushed into the duel. Everyone bets against him. As the bell rings, a single gunshot echoes. Herod's man hits the ground. Despite others claiming to be the fastest, Court proves otherwise. Later, Ellen sits down with Court. When Herod publicly reveals Court's criminal past, Ellen walks away in disgust. Soon after, Herod faces off against Ace. He exposes Ace as a fraud who had lied about killing him. When the clock strikes, Herod shoots Ace's thumb and then disables his other hand. After mocking him, Herod fires the final shot to his chest. The crowd, too scared to challenge Herod, applauds silently. Ellen watches from a distance, disturbed, as others search through Ace's possessions. That night, Ellen is haunted by a nightmare of her father's death. In the memory, Herod forces young Ellen to pull the trigger, executing her own father, a respected town marshal. The next morning, just before her next duel, Court shares a crucial piece of advice. Fire right after the clock makes a clicking sound, just before it strikes. The townspeople cheer Ellen on as she steps into the fight. Using Court's timing trick, she takes down her opponent and wins her first match.
You scared? Trembling like a leaf.
The crowd erupts in celebration, and in a bold moment, Ellen kisses the kid, marking her victory. Later that evening, Herod invites her to dinner at his home. During the meal, he reveals he entered the contest to control the threats against him, forcing those who want him dead to face him directly. Ellen plans to shoot Herod during dinner, hiding a small gun under the table. But when she hears a clicking sound, she panics and bolts, thinking Herod has a weapon aimed at her. It turns out the noise was just his lighter. Herod knew she intended to kill him, but allowed her to walk away. Meanwhile, Herod summons Sergeant Cantrell to his house. He exposes Cantrell as the real assassin hired by the townspeople, not Ace. Though Cantrell remains calm, the challenge is set. The next day, Herod changes the tournament rules so that all duels must now end in death. Herod orders the kid to stand down and faces Cantrell himself. When the clock chimes, Herod shoots Cantrell in the chest. As Cantrell makes one final move, Herod finishes him with a headshot. Furious, Herod tells the townspeople they owe their lives to him, then raises their taxes as punishment for trying to eliminate him. Though Herod urges the kid to withdraw, believing he has nothing left to prove, the kid insists on fighting. He takes on Stars and defeats him. Before the next round can continue, a storm rolls in, halting the duels for the day. Back at the bar, Eugene assaults Katie, the innkeeper's daughter, then brags about it in front of her father. Outraged, Ellen attacks Eugene from behind, triggering an official challenge. Despite the pouring rain, they step outside the duel. Ellen wounds Eugene with a shot to the gut, but hesitates to kill him as he begs for mercy. She walks back inside, but Eugene follows and shoots at her drink. Pushed to the edge, Ellen turns and kills him. Later, the kid finds Ellen as she packs to leave town before Court's next match. He confesses his feelings, but Ellen quietly rejects him and walks away without a word. On the other hand, Court steps into the ring to face Spotted Horse, carrying only a single bullet in his gun. He fires first, knocking Spotted Horse to the ground. But the man rises again and returns fire. Just when the fight seems lost, a blind merchant tosses Court a second bullet. Court reloads quickly and ends the battle with a precise shot to the head. Meanwhile, Ellen searches for her father's grave and meets the town doctor, a close friend of her late father. He reveals the harsh truth. Herod's men burned the body and destroyed the grave. There is nothing left to find. The doctor urges Ellen to stay. He believes there are still good people in town, but they live in fear under Herod's rule and dare not resist. He tells Ellen that the town needs someone to stand up for them. That someone could be her. Inspired by this, Ellen returns to town with renewed determination. Later that night, Ellen discovers Court being beaten by Herod's men in an alley. She intervenes, driving them off at gunpoint. That night, Ellen and Court share a quiet moment and agree to join forces to take down Herod. The next morning, Ellen tries to challenge Herod, only to find she is too late. The kid has already stepped forward to challenge him. Court warns Ellen to stay out of it and promises to face Herod in the final round. However, Herod overhears and decides otherwise. He forces Ellen and Court to fight each other, threatening to kill them if they refuse. Only 4 contestants remain. Ellen tries to persuade the kid to withdraw, but he refuses. He craves Herod's approval above all else. When the duel begins, the kid manages to wound Herod in the neck. Herod quickly recovers and fires a fatal shot. Ellen rushes to the kid's side as he dies in her arms, whispering that he did not want to die. Herod coldly tells Ellen that the kid was never his son, only another boy chasing a father he never had. Next, it is Ellen against Court. Court pleads with her to shoot him, but she refuses. They stand frozen, neither willing to draw their weapon. Herod orders his men to kill them both. With no other choice, Court shoots Ellen. She falls, motionless. The town doctor rushes in, declares her dead, and carries her away before the looters can reach her. Court is now set to face Herod in the final duel. That night, Herod's men drag Court away and beat him mercilessly. To ensure Herod's victory, they break Court's right hand, leaving him broken and barely able to stand before the final match. The next day, just before the final duel, Herod discovers the truth. The man who broke Court's hand had acted without orders. Herod tells him to run, then shoots him dead, making it clear that no one is allowed to touch Court without his permission. He admits he is afraid of Court and confesses that this fear is the real reason he forced him into the tournament. As a twisted sign of respect, Herod agrees to duel using his left hand, but secretly instructs his men to kill Court if he wins. As the crowd gathers and the final duel countdown begins, the clock tower suddenly explodes. Herod is stunned. Emerging from the smoke is Ellen, alive and armed. She reveals that her death was staged using red ink and that the town doctor helped her pull it off. With Herod's men distracted, Court seizes the moment and begins gunning them down. Meanwhile, Ellen steps in front of Herod and throws down the marshal's badge. She reveals that she is the daughter of the marshal Herod executed years ago. A flashback shows how Herod hung her father and forced young Ellen to fire the shot that killed him. Now, Ellen takes her revenge. She fired a shot that wounds Herod badly. Though injured herself, her wound is not fatal. She then delivers a final bullet to Herod's head, ending his reign of terror. In the aftermath, Ellen tosses the marshal's badge to Court and walks away without a word. As she disappears into the distance, Court stands over the town. He is the new law in redemption, ready to restore justice where it was lost. So the moral of the story is, don't mess with a lady who cleans boots and shoots first because she's got revenge and probably a better aim.